You told me when we talked on the phone, there was some statistic that 75% of people at the stage that some of these folks are at don't have mentors in some cases. You've described some of the mentors that really meant a huge amount to you. Could you say a little bit about what people might want to consider? Some of these mentors have sort of come to you, as you've said, but seeking out a mentor, what's that conversation need to be like? You're now, no doubt, a mentor to people. Your mentoring style may have varied over the years, but what would you say to folks, literally folks in the room, about seeking out mentors? How do they go about that? Are there questions to ask? How should folks, like the folks here today, seek out a mentor?
Yes, two things that come to mind. First of all, I spent my morning homeschooling my granddaughter. And number two, the statistic that you mentioned, a study showed that the two best predictors of how students will do after they graduate turn out to be, number one, did they have a mentor? And only 25% of American students graduating say they had a mentor. You know, that's an absolute tragedy. It really is. And number two, did they have an experience that would be the equivalent of an internship where they're using their experience but under some guidance? And so those two things turn out to be important. How do you find mentors? I tell students, the people that they want to emulate are so busy they're not looking for mentees. So they're not, don't expect them to come to you. Sometimes they do, but that's not the way it, so you have to find them. Don't ask them to be a mentor. It puts everybody in an awkward position. If they don't want to, how do they say no? And so they may say yes, even if they don't want to, and that turns out to be awkward. Instead, find someone that you really want to emulate and ask them a question in their field. I mean, give it some thought. Come up with something really intriguing. And then go back a couple weeks later and ask a follow-up question. And by the time you've done this 3 times, you've not asked them to be a mentor, but they are now invested in you. And so you've developed the beginning of a mentorship relationship. So I think that's the way it happens.
Seek out mentors. They're not going to come to you.
That's right. Absolutely.